Ayo, this morning is fucking wild, man. Daddy DeLong is officially back with Blink, and I seriously could not be more ecstatic about it. Like, I know a lot of fans have like issues with Tom to the degree because he keeps like coming and going, but like, I will dick ride Tom for like the rest of my existence. Tom is so sick, and to see him back with Blink is just like legit something I thought I wouldn't see again because like there's just so much coming and going, and I figured with all the success of Matt, they'd just be like, fuck it, you know? But honestly, I think part of the reason why he came back was like Mark's cancer scare. I mean, like the dude almost died, so it's just like, they're all best friends, so they couldn't just like end Blink or anything like that without like, a proper farewell with Tom and everything, I'm sure. So that's super exciting. Like, I am so excited to hear the new song and to hopefully see them live on one of their stops, but I doubt I'll be able to. Because they're A, probably gonna be expensive tickets, and B, they're gonna sell out like immediately everywhere. Like, no doubt about it. And then I haven't even mentioned, like, almost in a way, the best part about the tour, honestly, aside from Tom being with them, is the fact that they're taking fucking Turnstile on tour with them. That is fucking huge. Like, that is the coolest shit I think I could have asked for in a tour. They're also taking Story So Far, which is exciting as well, but I'll kind of explain my thoughts about that in like a second. And they're also taking Rise Against, which, once again, I'll kind of explain my thoughts on that. And then like a kind of curveball band to take out is Wallows. Like, that's definitely not a band I would ever see Blink touring with, but it's cool. Like, it kind of makes sense in a way, but it's cool. If you don't know, Wallows is the band of what's his name, from that show 13 Reasons Why, the Blake kid. That's hit. I don't know the actor's like real name in real life, so I apologize, but it's his band, so that's cool. And it's not like usually actors with bands, they're usually fucking awful, but like this band's actually kind of cool. I'll give them that. So, like, that's just an insane tour. That is bonkers in my opinion, mainly because Turnstile. Oh, it's so crazy to say that. Turnstile is going on tour with Blink. But to be fair, we all saw it coming, which is cool. Tom, sometime last year or maybe earlier this year, he was tweeting about Turnstile and like asking like, oh, should they tour with one of the bands that I'm in or something like that? I don't know what he said exactly, but he mentioned them in a tweet. So it's like, this has been in the works, and Tom's probably been talking to the band about this legit since like last year, which is crazy because like this shit's been in the works and in the making for like a while then. I mean, yeah, Tom did say and tweet all the time that like it was happening, but it's like, how do you believe him? Or not even him necessarily, but how do you believe that when there's so many rumors going around in general too, It's like, yeah, okay, whatever you say, dude. But I'm so happy it's all true, it's all real, and it's weird to say that Daddy DeLong is indeed back in Blink. But with that comes a couple of issues or concerns. I'll put it that way. All right. But first, I'm gonna get to my thoughts on the bands they're touring with, because that's a little bit more in line with like the discussion here. So, like I said, it's Turnstile, which I'm fucking excited for and grateful for. That's amazing. That's the coolest shit. Story So Far, Wallows, and Rise Against. So I'm gonna start by talking about Rise Against, since I don't really have any issues with them necessarily, but it is weird in a way. Maybe not. Maybe that's the wrong word to say, but I have a concern. So all these bands that they're taking out on tour with them, they're relatively small bands, even though in their respective styles and genres, they're not small. But in the grand scheme of things in music in the world, they're technically small. So it's just like, for them to take out a band like Rise Against, I feel like it's just weird that they didn't pick another small band to take on tour with them, because there's plenty of fucking awesome small bands they could have taken on tour and just had the roster be a relatively small roster in terms of popularity, of course. They could have taken out like one of the stories so far is like not bandmates. Well, yeah, I guess you could say bandmates. Yeah, really. Like they're good friends of this band called Regulate. Like they would have been a sick band to take on tour, and that would have been huge for them. They just dropped an album recently, and it's like fucking sick. And they're, you know, arguably they're relatively like tiny and small. And there's other bands they could have taken out, but this is very all impromptu. So like, I can't think of anything right now. But it would have been sick to see some other small band be on the roster though. So this leads me into my second issue with the lineup. Although I like this band, I don't know, I have feelings about them. So my other issue is the story so far. Now, they're cool, like I just said, they're cool. I like them. But I've seen them live plenty of times. Like I think I've seen them like 3 times, which isn't like the most amount of times anyone's seen a band live, but I just say that's a respectable amount of times to see a band, right? And in those 3 times, only once were they actually like good live, to be fair. Like, I hate to say it, but like, they're not a very great live band, and part of it also is because of their singer, Parker Cannon. The band, I'm just blanketing it all really, because the band does fine live. Like, they sound good live, they're cool. They could be a little bit more energetic, but whatever. But the issue really is Parker Cannon himself, because here's the thing about Parker. He has 2 bands, right? He has a band called on the side, technically called No Pressure, and then he has Story. And the person / frontman he is with both those bands are 2 completely different fucking people. With the Story so far, he always he's looked like sad all the time, and like he doesn't want to be there, like playing these songs, and like his stage presence is kind of weird because he's like in love with Liam Gallagher. At least he was for a while, and he then adapted Liam Gallagher's like stage presence into himself, and it like just made everything kind of weird. He just kind of stands there and just like I don't know. He just stands there really. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't seem like he wants to be there. Now with his other band, No Pressure, woo, completely different. He's fucking awesome when he's with that band. Like, he looks like he wants to be there. He's energetic. He moves around. His like vocal performances are cool because it's basically just a hardcore band that like listened to Blink a little too many times. And I mean that in a good way, actually, not in a bad way. No Pressure is fucking sick. They're like one of the coolest and best things to come out of punk and hardcore in a minute. That's not to discredit any of the other great hardcore bands that have happened, but I'm just saying, as of recently, they're one of the best things to happen from that scene. And admittedly, with that in mind, I would have much rather had No Pressure on the tour than Story so far. It's just the honest truth here, because as an entity, No Pressure puts on a much better experience than Story does. Just saying. You know, it's kind of hard to say, but like, it's how I feel, and it's the truth to me. No Pressure is a much better band in almost every way, honestly. Like, it's pretty bananas. But No Pressure does have this thing that, like, it's part of their I don't know, yeah, it's their thing that they kind of don't want to blow up or get too big because they want to be able to do small intimate club shows all the time, you know, without having to have a barricade and shit like that, and be able to interact with the fans in the show is much easier. So like, you know, when you put that into consideration, it's like kind of understandable why it's not No Pressure, probably, because I'm sure if they were offered it, they would take it. But I think if any of the members of Blink know the band, which I know Mark's aware of the band, so it's like if he knows anything about the band, he probably is aware that like they, you know, would rather stay small for the most part and just do cool club gigs. And he'd probably want to respect that as much as he probably does want to take that band on tour with Blink and them. But, you know, it is what it is. It's still cool to see Story doing big things and like continuing on. Hopefully they have new material too on this tour and in the future. Oh, another thing I actually want to talk about too real quick is I wonder like what happened, like what's gonna happen with all those songs they wrote with Matt Skiba. Like, are they gonna just do a lot of other bands in the past have done and just like almost ignore that period completely? Or are they gonna actually play some of the songs from that era and Tom's gonna just like be a cool guy, you know, and step up to the plate and learn them and play them with them? Because I could see it happening both ways. I'm not a huge fan of the Matt Skiba stuff. They did have a couple of cool songs that I did enjoy, and I would like to see those songs played live. And also some of those songs did so much for Blink. Like, if I remember correctly, I think like songs off of both those albums got them their first like Grammy or something like that in like a long time, or maybe in general their first Grammy. But I know they got like awards and shit for those albums, so it's just like to just ignore that time period is kind of weird to me, because like I said, it did so much for the band. The band was at their peak they've ever been basically during that period. So it's like, how do they just ignore that? So it's like, imagine the song Bored to Death with Tom on vocals now. Like, are they gonna play that song? Because it'd be cool to see that live, you know? Or like the opener from California, Cynical. Like that song's, sure, it's a little too poppy sounding and overproduced. All the music is really, but you know, it's still a fucking cool, fast punk rock song, at least in my opinion. And like, I think Tom could like make that sound even more punk and like sick if he laid down his vocal takes or like his version of it live, you know? Not to discredit Matt Skiba like crazy, because I feel like I kind of am, but like, you know, like Matt did what he was supposed to do, and I don't think it's awful, but it's not like my favorite material, you know? But once, like, to get back on track, yeah, to see Tom do some of these songs live would be cool as fuck. So it's just like, are they gonna ignore it, or are they gonna play those songs? I guess we'll have to find out, you know, when if you get lucky enough to see them on one of the dates, which, oh man, I don't think I'll be able to see them, but I'll definitely be watching YouTube videos like the second they're like on YouTube to see them, because like that's so cool, so fucking cool. I don't think I have any other concerns I want to talk about right now. Oh, I do actually. The other thing I'm kind of like excited for, really, this is a little bit more dorkier stuff, like behind the scenes dorky music stuff, but if I'm not mistaken, it looks like the dude that helped Angels and Airwaves do their last album, his name is Aaron Rubin, and it looks like he's gonna be helping Blink also produce this new album they're doing, which is pretty cool, because if you haven't heard the last Angels and Airwaves album, it's actually pretty fucking sick. Like, it's pretty cool. I like it personally, but once again, I'm a dick rider for Tom, so of course I like it. But objectively, I think it's pretty tight. And that gets me a little excited, because that means the album will probably sound way less overproduced and polished than the previous stuff, the previous two albums, because those albums are so overproduced, and it like really takes away from the album, in my opinion, like big time. And it sucks, because it's like you have these songs that could sound and be and feel a lot better songs if they were just like mixed and mastered better. Or not better is a hard way to put it, because you know it's all subjective, but like objectively it could have sounded better and more like raw and punk. But you know, they did what they did, that's just it. And the dude that did those two albums was the guy from Goldfinger. And you know, if you happen to be a nerd like me and like are into music production and stuff like that, like listen to the stuff he's done, and it all sounds overproduced all the time. It's all just super like poppy radio trash, honestly. So once again, it's exciting to see Aaron Rubin doing the production side of things, and who knows, if he mixed it too, that'd be exciting as well. I'm assuming he mixed the album, but I know Rich Costi mixed the Angels album and Aaron just helped produce it. Well, not just helped, but you know, it's a big thing. So maybe Rich Costi will mix the Blink album. That'll be sick. It'll sound good. I'm telling you, it will sound awesome and way better if those two end up working on the album. But either way, I'm excited for what the future holds. Some of you watching this may not be as excited as me or give a shit, but this is just me. So anyways, that's it. That's all I got for today, man. Later.